I want to take a few moments and talk about the Lightroom mobile app that just came out yesterday. This is a new app that right now is only iPad only, so mobile is a little ambitious, but let's hope that it's coming on Android soon. It is also coming on the iPhone soon as well. But if you're an Android user, take a moment to go over to their website. I'll leave a link down below, the best place I think to give them some feedback and let them know that you're an Android user and you want this app. So here we are, we're looking at it. I'm screencasting my iPad, and but let's start over in Lightroom. You need to have Lightroom 5.4. So here I am in Lightroom 5.4. This is a free download if you have never tried Lightroom before. If you're a Lightroom 5, if you've purchased Lightroom 5, whoopsie, it's a free upgrade. And if you are the Creative Cloud member subscriber, it's $9.99 a month. It gets you Lightroom and Photoshop, and that is what you need to continue using this setup, Lightroom, on the iPad past 30 days. It is only available to Creative Cloud members past 30 days. 30-day free trial. Then after that. Now there's a lot of discussion and a good bit of people that are discouraged by the renting software idea. I don't want to get into that discussion right now. In this, we're going to look at this app and talk about it is what it is, but it does seem like that's the model we're going with and we're along for the ride. But let them know if you're really unhappy about that. That's also something you can give them feedback on. Okay, here I am in Lightroom 5.4. The first thing you do when you install Lightroom 5.4, run it the first time, is to log in with your Creative Cloud information. And I've done that right here, and now instead of just saying Adobe Lightroom 5, it's got my name. The second thing you need to do is create a collection, so it will not sync your whole catalog, and I think that's a good thing. So you create a collection and you move images into that collection, and then you tell it to sync with Lightroom Mobile. As far as I can tell, I'm still learning this as well, there is no way to sync smart collections, which I'm really bummed about. For those who don't know, smart collections are very similar to those playlists on iTunes that sit there and automatically gather files, music, based on certain criteria. You can do the exact same thing with smart collections, and I think you're understanding how it works here. 5 stars. That looks for any images that I've ranked 5 stars. Let's go through these real quick and say, hey, that is, well, no, not that one. That's on an external drive. Let's find one that's not on an external drive. 5 stars. And now instantly that turns to 2. Just wanted to show that really quick. But this is a manual collection only, so you have to drag things in here. So if I come back here to all my photographs, right now we got 25, and say that I want to add this right here, I'm just going to click and drag it in there, and now I have 26. If we pop back over to the Reflector app real quick, mobile Lightroom test, 25 photos, we give that a second and it will update. The updates are quick, but definitely not instantaneous, so we got to keep that in mind. And let's see. Generally, let's go over the pros and cons real quick here as we, let's start with the pros because we are going to look at those in just a second. This makes editing on the go easy, 26 now. It's pretty simple and straightforward, and it's really easy to then share on your mobile device a subset of your Lightroom files. Now, there are some files that are on external drives. When I initially synced them, that's what these little icons mean. That external drive at the moment is not connected. I'm curious to see how that will work. When I first did my run through, everything was connected up. But now I've disconnected it because I had to connect some other things in. So we'll see how that goes. But let's dive right into the actual app. So here I am. I'm going to just touch this image that represents this catalog or collection. And there they are. There's the new one. I just added the glass with a little orange peel sticking out of it. And I'm just dragging my finger up and going through. It's a nice view of all of these images. And if I do a single tap on any one of them, it opens it up. Now, some of you who follow me on Instagram, you may have seen this before. And when I initially opened this image, it had all of the changes that I had made in Lightroom. The first being making it a square 1:1. But then in playing with it, I reset that and brought it all the way back. So your history, these images, this is true of Lightroom and this is true of the iPad app, all of your changes are non-destructive. At any time you can go all the way back to what it looked like when you imported it. So let's do some things to this duck. Nice things, photographic things. So first button I'm going to show you brings up the film strip across the bottom, so you can just scroll through and look at other images and pull up a different image if you want. But let's stay with the duck for now. So I'm just tapping back on the duck, and you can see it loads quite quickly. And up in the top right corner there's a little dot dot running that lets you know that it's loading. Now I'm going to double tap on the duck one time, two finger single tap, and that brings up your metadata, shows you what I shot this with, and also shows you your histogram. And you can tap again to remove the histogram, leave the metadata, tap again, vice versa, tap again, it all goes away. Now, next button over, this is the one most of you are waiting for. This is our basic editing panel. So this brings me to my first con, and I might be being too harsh here, but I just want to say it, that you're really only provided the basic panel for editing. You don't have, let's look over here real quick and let's dive into Develop module. So the options that we see at the bottom of the iPad app are these options right here in the basic panel. We don't have these panels down below. Let's go back to here. Alright, so let's add a little bit of contrast. I've touched contrast, and now I got this little ruler slider, and I can drag to the right, increase, drag to the left to decrease, and you can see that it blurs a little bit as you do it, but the preview is very, very quick. And when I let my finger off, it comes into sharp focus quite quickly. That's a little bit too much contrast. I'm going to back it down just a little bit. I'm going to go to my highlights now, and I'm going to decrease my highlights just a little. My shadows, I'm going to bring up just a little. And I'm going to add a little bit of clarity. Now I have an auto import preset that adds 15 clarity automatically, but when I reset this image, as I said, it's non-destructive, it resets it all the way back. Let's add a little, about 20. And maybe just a touch of vibrance to bring out the color that that duck really was, and a touch of saturation. And you can see that I can go to previous or reset. So let's tap that again to make that go away. That looks good. I'm happy with that. We're going to come back. Well, let's do our next step. So this opens up your your presets that are available to you in Lightroom. Not your presets though, so that brings me to another con. These are kind of your standard default presets, almost Instagram-like filters, lots more of them. And you can see they give you nice previews of what it's going to look like, small previews, and you can go through and try different ones and always do undo. Bottom right corner is a little undo button. So let's do a one that I don't like very much right now, cross process. There we go. I think that looks pretty hideous for this duck. I don't like it. I can hit the undo button and it undid the apply cross process and brought me back to my other settings. If you have your own presets, ones you've bought, ones you've created, those do not appear here. That's something else I think people should start leaving feedback by. Last button is cropping. You have your aspect ratios. If I was going to put this on Instagram, I'd do 1:1, and then I could just click and drag to pick where I want to put the duck. Or I can hit this little unlock button. Oh, it was already unlocked. To go to free, and then you have the option, I'm just dragging on the bottom right corner, you have the option of doing that however you want. But let's go back to 1:1 and let's make it back to 1:1, then touch the lock to make sure, and now you can see that it nicely stays in that aspect ratio. And touching the button again, the crop button, will bring you back to that. Now let's swipe to the right and bring up a new image. Let's go into our settings right here, and let's hit previous. There we go. Took a minute to load. Let's hit previous, and we can take the basic tones from the previous photo or everything from the previous photo. This is also a really powerful feature in Lightroom itself when you're going through and editing many similar photos. This is a bad example. This is not a similar photo, but I'm going to touch that. And now it is edited exactly the same way as I edited the duck, and that looks horrible. So I'm going to undo that. And we're back there. Now, let's go back, top left corner, little arrow, bring us back to this screen. One other thing that I wanted to show that's on the con side that I can show is in cropping. This is where I would expect that you could straighten things if you wanted to. The sign was actually crooked and I like that, but I can't figure out any way, 2 fingers, single fingers, I haven't looked it up yet, but it does not, oh, that's much more grid, but there does not seem to be any way to rotate a horizon. That is a pretty significant feature that I think should be part of crop. I should be able to rotate this image, but I can't. I can just crop it. I don't know if I've shared this on Instagram yet, so let's go ahead and say 1:1. And now the sharing button in the top right corner is right here. I can hit that and I can share it to my camera roll and then pull out Instagram from there, or however you like to do that. You could also remove it from this collection and start a slideshow as well that will play through all of the images you have in this collection. And then touching. Oh, let's try a 2-finger swipe. What do we get? We get the next image. How is that different than 1 finger? So 2 fingers swipe will give you just loads the next image. 1 finger does the scroll, however you want to call that. So let's tap, let's X out of the slideshow, and let's go back to here. So that's the overview of the Lightroom mobile app, which right now is iPad only, iPhone coming, and let's hope that Android is coming. Leave a comment for that. So the pros, easy editing on the go. It's really simple and straightforward and easy to share on mobile. Of course, I'm not sure if this is clear or not, but all of the changes I make in this are synced back to Lightroom. So if we come back over here, that duck is square and has the aspects that I applied. There they are, 24:4, and that is what I set up here on the duck back in the mobile app. 24:4. So, and the next time I plug in that external drive with that file, it will apply those changes for me. Very slick. Cons, no way to straighten the horizon, none of your own presets at this time. It also is a little slow. Christina made that comment more than me. She felt that it was a little slow with editing raw files. I feel like it's fairly snappy for what it is. I'm running this on an older iPad, iPad 2 I think, and it seems to do a good job. It's certainly not the fastest and smoothest program I've ever used, but it's not too slow. You only have that basic panel for editing. You don't have any of the other options, which some people spend a lot of time in. If you've got any questions about this new iPad Lightroom mobile app, whatever we want to call it, any questions about Lightroom, take a look down below. I have a playlist to more videos about Lightroom. I'll be back to talk about this app and more. I imagine they'll update it fairly quickly to add additional features and functions. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.